King and Yates, they bridging the gap. From the US to Dubai, put pins on the map. Ball is life, and that's a fact. And a baller's life, about that exact. King and Yates, they bridging the gap. From the US to Dubai, put pins on the map. There's a time to score and a time to assist. Ain't no I in team, let the winning commence. From generation to generation, game don't stop. The new and old school got the game on lock. It's all legendary, it's all necessary. We all been all-stars before February. And after that, King and Yates, after racks. But really trying to get some wins, not just padding stats. Two basketball lovers through happenstance.
Man. Not just padding stats. You know, that's what they say the Joker and them be doing, padding stats. They ain't really out here trying to get some wins.
You know, we've heard that for so many years about Russell Westbrook,
right.
LeBron, some other players. But when they don't get those numbers, they lose. Then what y'all got to say?
And then they say they're not playing hard enough.
Right. Well,
I tell you one thing. One stat that is hard to pat is rebounding.
Right.
Like, y'all, I saw Clark Kellogg. He said that boxing out is overrated. He said it's more about desire, positioning, and just the sure will to want to go get the ball. Yeah, boxing out is all cool, but to really rebound, you need to have great positioning, timing, and just a desire to go get the rock.
See, that's bogus. That's boxing out.
Yeah.
That's boxing out.
But
Yeah.
you know, some people put a body on them just to say they put a body on them. But when you grinding trying to get it,
everybody knows 52 fake out. When you just step in the lane real quick. You know, not even stepping up the line, you step just in the lane, and you got like that ain't boxing out. Boxing out is when you connect with somebody and you push them out, and then you go get the ball.
You know, it's big time though when you rebounding out of your position.
Right.
That's when you talk about a guy that's getting 16, 15, 12 rebounds a game. Yeah. It's different. You can't pad those stats. Like, right. You rebound outside of your area, you just a dog. Mm-hmm. You know, you just a dog. You gotta have them. You know, that's that piece of basketball that doesn't require a lot of skills training or whatever else. If you can't do, two ball dribbling, but I can see you attacking the ball, I can find a way to put you in the game. And we need some of that now.
No, there's got to be at least. There ain't no moments where you use two balls in the game. So.
Yeah, never, right? Still trying to figure out how they make that happen. BTG Nation, what's up, man? Yeah, we're still here. It's the third episode right here in the new spot. We got the fireplace action going today because we don't have no guests. But shout out to our two guests. Podcast been booming since then. Shout out to our new 230 followers on Instagram. Let's get all of you guys on YouTube, but everything's going good. You know the deal. Hoop Mountain Dubai, Hoop Mountain DXB, Hoop Mountain.ae. Man, we moving and grooving, King. We got a little Hoop Mountain update, don't we? The league is over now.
League is over for the winter term, and what we had, our U12 finished for third place. Should have been competing for the first place, but we had some people just learning the, the roles and responsibilities of being on a team. Mm-hmm. They're young, so they're learning. This is their first time for everything.
Yeah.
Because, our U16 girls, third place.
Man.
U16 boys, third place.
And I'm not giving them.
I know. Yeah, we should have been playing for the championship.
Yeah.
But again,
U14.
No.
Yeah, but U14, we did see a big stride from a couple players in that third place game.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a big jump in multiple players, across each age group. But we're just cut from a different cloth.
Yeah,
we're trying to get these guys to understand that it's a privilege to be able to compete at a high level.
Oof.
And the more you do, the better you become, the more that's expected of you. Yeah, they're just learning that stuff. So we take it.
I mean, you as this is not your first go around running the league or being a part of one at any level. What would you like to say about your counterparts? The guys from the other organizations that we've called out a lot of places about not wanting to work together to help build the game, but We got a few of those.
The guys we got with us to put this league together, big game league, they're good guys.
Yeah, I got to give them a round. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, and we'll get them on as well because everybody in the UAE needs to see that we can all work together and we can all run businesses together. Because, basketball is a small world, and if you do the right things, you're going to retain your players, you're going to get new players, and you're going to develop the players that you currently have. And, we can all coexist. And we have to do it because we need to run leagues where when we go into the game each weekend, it's going to be fair, hard-fought games, and everybody's got the same common goal, which is just let's uplift the game of basketball.
Yeah. What for the people that aren't familiar, let's highlight those teams and their coaches. Who we got first?
We got Hang Time, Coach Kareem.
Yeah.
We got Coach Lenny Haskins from IPM.
Yeah,
International Players.
Playmakers.
Yeah, playmakers from Abu Dhabi. Think about it. They're driving from Abu Dhabi every weekend to play. So they definitely want to get out.
And that's not one team. That's
right.
like 4 teams or so.
Right. We have Beyond Basketball, Coach Dario. We have Moen, also from Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
We have Jim's Wellington Silicon Oasis, Coach Paul Walker.
Yeah.
So you got a good crew, man.
For the first year. So shout out to you guys too, because what you guys also brought, because most of them are a lot more established than we are.
Yep.
What they brought were fans. Yep. that Hang Time crew, they had a drum in that thing. The IPM, they had their team, and then the Filipino community travels heavy anyway, no matter where they are. So you mentioned it's the first time for everything.
Yep.
And this is probably also the first time our parents see how inclusive the entire basketball experience is, from player, coach, ref to parent in the stand.
Yep.
It's really all connected.
Yep.
And so I'm gonna be interested to see how that grows.
Yeah.
Because we got some parents who got some energy. They live. They live. They just try to figure out how to work.
We did have a couple of moments where I thought we were back in the States. So
no, that was good. But I gotta say this. I did tell my WSO group last night, because we record on Tuesdays, on Monday night, because we had a couple of guys from the 14, U16, and then we had a couple girls that are supposed to be on the U16 but haven't been. And I had to point out to them, because a lot of times the girls, they get anxious before they start playing.
Right.
And so they just start thinking about everything. And so there's one girl in particular who's one of our leaders. And so I said, look, when you come back next term, you are going to join a team of the toughest players on Hoop Mountain. Mm-hmm. And the boys were like, what? I said, listen, you say what you want, but I'm telling you this, and I'm not doing it like in any motivational way. I'm telling you the truth. Our toughest crew are the U16 girls. And I say, now, it didn't start that way. But by the end of it, when I looked at them, I didn't have to talk to them anymore about being tough. It was just about figuring out how to use that toughness and not be overly aggressive.
Right.
And then just thinking the game too, because our girls are tough now.
Right. They are.
Yeah. And so I'm proud of them for that. But man, we got this is gonna be an episode. We haven't talked about basketball since Uncle Ro was here.
Yep.
And even then we mentioned a few names like a Patino and some things changed up. So before we jump into there though, I gotta bring this up. My guy is having everybody, this is one of everybody's favorites right here. I want to play a little clip for everybody. J.R. Smith, let's see, listen up.
I need to wear a shirt for this?
If I'm asked to describe JR's persona as a player, bucket getter.
JR was definition of outside of the box.
I think the way JR Smith's been portrayed over a very long career has evolved.
I know who I am. I know who I've been. I know who I wanted to be. I got a pretty uphill battle to fight, but I'm gonna.
J.R. Smith is going back to school. He's enrolling at North Carolina to pursue a liberal arts degree and hoping to play on a college golf team.
North Carolina A&T is a beacon of hope where you can empower Black youth
It's difficult for me because I've been out of school for so long. So it's a lot of grinding. There's always room to improve.
You're a freshie and I'm a senior.
I'm not doing this to prove nobody else wrong. It's like I'm really proving to myself that I can do it.
So that's a clip from a new series coming out for J.R. Smith on Amazon. J.R. Smith Redefined, produced by LeBron and Maverick Carter. Now, we had an episode, I think season 2, we talked about hood favorites. Each era got their own, but J.R. Smith, for my era, is 150% a hood favorite. We love J.R. Smith. Sure. We love him. And to see his evolution and what he's doing off the court now, too, is even more inspiring and dope. And so I'm looking forward to that right there.
I'm definitely going to watch that.
For sure. The music got you hyped, did it?
Oh, yeah. Because automatic, I was like, what's dude's name?
P.D. Pablo.
P.D. Pablo. I think he's from Baltimore or something like that.
Oh, no.
And he moved. I think something like that.
He might have been.
You got to look that up. Young Breadwinner or whatever his name is.
He don't even know who P.D. Pablo is. He might do some like...
But as soon as I heard it, it just took me back to that morning on the bus when Gerald had that CD and Turk grabbed that CD and bent that CD, and Gerald just lost his mind.
Greenville, North Carolina.
Okay. But I forgot it was.
You know who I thought you were gonna say it remind you of?
Who?
That morning on the bus when Savage went off. It was 6 a.m. and he was going off on Savage from North Carolina. And yes, his nickname is Savage. Yeah. This is before 21.
Yeah.
This is way before 21 Savage. We was calling him Savage in 2009.
Yeah. Savage had a triple X Chicago Bulls jersey
with the black, and he wore it backwards sometimes.
Some oversized construction Timbs
in the Dewey.
Do-rag, baggy jeans, like super baggy jeans.
Yeah.
And then he was missing a tooth.
Yeah, listen.
You know what I'm saying? Remember I used to always say like, yo, Savage, you got to earn your stripes. You're playing in the post first. Yeah. It's an ugly game, and you're ugly already, so you fit right in.
Yeah, that was my dog, though, man.
Yeah, he was, man.
Savage came up big time, boy. But, that is that's somebody who had a chance to play college, right?
Yep.
But, sometimes circumstances just become so unfortunate. And there's a lot of times when it's not in our control.
Yep.
But that'll take us right into this March Madness. Right, and so I'm just going to read off the Sweet 16 so far because let's be real, we haven't had a chance to watch any of this.
Nothing.
But, we'll talk about it until...
I did try to watch Michigan State Marquette and I fell asleep.
Yeah, time difference is just different. And I did have a couple of players hit me. It's like, yo, coach, how can I see the games? And the app that I sent them to see it, they're like, yo, it's not available in this country. So I'm like... that's something just to note. Something to note. But in the South region, you got Alabama versus San Diego State, and you got Creighton versus Princeton. Princeton knocked off Arizona and Missouri to get there, and they smacked Missouri. They beat Missouri by 15. And then on the Midwest, you got Houston and Miami. You got Xavier and Texas, and then on the West Coast, you got Arkansas and UConn. Arkansas pulled on the upset of Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got Gonzaga and UCLA. And then on the other end, on the East, you have FAU. That's Florida Atlantic versus Tennessee. And Kansas State versus Michigan State. Now, that East bracket was crazy because Florida Atlantic beat Memphis in the 8-9 game. And then Purdue loses to Fairleigh Dickinson in the 16-1. Hadn't been done since UMBC, at least on the men's side. It hadn't been done since UMBC a few years back over UVA.
But what makes it worse is that Fairleigh Dickinson just became Division I recently.
Right. And last year they were 4-18 before getting this new coach. Think about that. And so just that reflection, we haven't watched the game, but you had the opportunity to play in the Division I tournament. Sweet 16, to be exact, right?
Elite 8.
Elite 8, right? And so you shared some cool stories a few times about it. But you were talking about one recently. You said you had with some shoes.
Yeah, man. One of my boys sent me the tape of us when I was at Temple against Fab Five in Michigan, and we were playing in Seattle, the Superdome, and I was fortunate enough to get in the game for a few minutes, a brief stint, and Jalen Rose is at the foul line. He's shooting, and and him and his teammates they're talking while they're on, he's about to shoot foul shots, and this cat like, yo, look at their sneaks, yo. And and I'm proud. I'm a freshman. We in the Elite Eight. I'm like, shit, we playing against the Fab Five. You know what I'm saying? And I look down Yates, and I'm like, damn, there is a big difference between your sneaks and my sneaks. You know what I'm saying?
But listen though, that's like some people will probably be like, yo, you just been, picky. But you gotta understand the basketball culture, and then that time, especially now with the Air movie coming out based on Sonny Vaccaro and Michael Jordan and how everything got together. And we'll talk more once that movie drops about Sonny V's influence on basketball.
Got some personal,
right? Yeah. Like that stuff is real. But you meant, how do we get into that shoe conversation? We were talking to the kids.
Our kids, yep.
Yeah, because a lot of our kids come to the gym in damn Nike trainers, running shoes with no grip,
or just straight up Bobos.
Yeah,
let's call it like it is.
Something crazy.
And and the background that our families come from, you should not be wearing Bobos. Yeah. But they just don't know yet.
No clue. And so I think Coach was talking about. I was telling them about how being on the Nike sponsored team and then at TC and everything, ain't really pay for the sneakers, even in college, right?
Right.
And so you told them the story about how you won in the tournament, and in the locker room, the Nike guy was
Nike guy was in that joint like, hey, I got the fresh joints for you guys, for the next game. The
new Huaraches, right?
I think it was that or the Barclays. I couldn't remember what it was. And Coach shut that shit down quick. No. They ain't wearing that shit. We can wear the same shit that we wore that got us here. You know what I'm saying? We come to work every day with our hard hats and our lunch boxes. That's it. We don't need anything shiny. Yeah. We don't want these guys thinking they're better than what they are. And I was like, oh my God, this dude.
And then y'all line up against Fab Five.
Fab Five. And they were wearing stuff that Nike hadn't even presented to the public yet. Mm-hmm. Like only the pros might have.
And that's like 95, 96?
This was 93.
93.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
93. Yeah, like this is when the year Chris Webber, after they beat us, he called the timeout that they didn't have against North Carolina. So yeah, this was early. Like they had so much gear that I thought they were professionals.
Man.
I was like, what the man, something ain't right here,
man. And I'm just waiting for that type of energy to get back here. Like I'm waiting for the day we can line up at our gym and we got the 12 bags for the U16, U14, the older groups, because the younger groups ain't gonna get them.
Right.
You gotta have something to go from the older groups. Right. Here, the 12 bags, sit it to the side for everybody who made the elite teams, and they get it in like, yo, that's for us.
Yeah.
Like, that's a different feeling when you worked for that and you can really stand on it. Like, we got this walk around sweatsuits. Like, matter of fact, that's something I meant to say. Uncle Ro is here, and I was like, he was asking about things, and I was like, yeah, everything cool. But I was like, man, I don't have the coaching attire like you and Coach King got. He said, what you mean? I said, coaches got like a certain closet where it's just sweatsuits. y'all got y'all thing where, because y'all know y'all traveling. If you know you gotta be athletic, you gotta look like a coach, but you want to look a certain way. I ain't got the coaching sweatsuit down packed yet.
Yeah, you getting there. You haven't actually have a chance to wear the coaching slacks with sneakers yet.
I don't think I'm coming to that.
No, you might have. If you coaching, you'll have to. Yeah,
well, it's a different age. Did you see Don Staley the other day?
No, shout
out to Don Staley, you're a gangster. We're gonna dedicate an episode to Miss Don Staley too.
Don Staley's preference in coaching attire is unmatched because you don't know, she might wear leopard print one night. I mean,
she shouted out to Cheney State though.
Yeah.
And then I think she wore some like, she shout out to North Carolina State. She stepped in and some stuff, but it's a little different. I might not have to.
It's different. You know what I'm saying? Don Staley be wearing something. She can wear, but winning at that clip, she can wear whatever she wants.
Do what you want. No, that's for sure. Yeah. But speaking of winning at certain clips, man, we gotta highlight this coach from Fairleigh Dickinson. Well, first, let me start by highlighting Furman, because that was a big upset that they pulled over UVA.
Yeah.
And when we look at it, like when I named off the 216, the Kansas is not in there. Duke, UNC, like those blue blood schools that's there, they're not there. It's a whole different group crop, especially this year.
Kansas was without Bill Self. Yeah, he had to deal with some health issues. Mm-hmm. He's been under investigation, so he got all types of
stress.
It's all types of stress. Duke, which John Shire, they did win the ACC tournament, but Coach K ain't there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You think about North Carolina, they didn't even make the tournament, and they declined to go to the NIT.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of blue bloods that went down this year. Kentucky's down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's different with the transfer portal being as open as it is. It's no longer just a given for the blue bloods to get there.
Mm-hmm. And but let's highlight Tobin Anderson, right? First of all, Coach, great job. Great job. And there are a lot of coaches. Kansas State's coach, Kennesaw State's coach. There's a lot of great coaches getting highlighted, which is always great about this time of year because you get to see stories, right? And the stories in college basketball are matched because you go through a different type of up and down with these young men, But, man, talk about 16 going over for Purdue with three D2
former D2 players.
Former D2 players who he brought with him with a team that was 4-18 the year before.
Yep.
Man.
Listen, of course a 16 it isn't supposed to be a 1 seed. But when this happens with former D2 guys, I mean, that's just unprecedented. Like, we may never see that again. And that says a lot about the program he was running on the D2 level.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I'm hearing, too, is there have been, over the last 3 years, there have been multiple Division II, Division III, and NIA guys that transferred up to Division I and have been playing in the tournament.
Yeah. And
this is off the heels of the last 4 Division III national champions have all come from Virginia. It's Christopher Newport just won it this year.
Okay.
And then it was Randolph-Macon.
Okay.
2 years.
Okay.
And they might have won 3, but Randolph-Macon 2, and then somebody else from Virginia again. Okay. And so with some people, because some people ask me where did I play and why did I play Division III, but it's also a lot of times it's always about what region that you're in, because some of those people or schools that don't have a national budget to recruit, they just recruit what's around.
Yep.
When you are in Virginia and you got the DMV and
there's
East
talent everywhere.
Talent everywhere. And that, that kind of creates an environment.
Yeah.
And so a lot of us were recruited to come up and transfer at different times of the year too. But that's an important stat to hear, especially with the way basketball is growing and more visibility is coming. Like, what's interesting? I'm starting to see, and we have to call some coaches soon and talk about how they're recruiting, because you don't have time to go out and get everybody, right, or see everybody. Right. But you know how back in the day, you probably know somebody who a coach would call somebody they know in that area and be like, yo, can you go check out this game for me and see something, right? Because I know D3 especially, that happens to where they got some people in certain spots that they trust, of course, and they be like, hey, check this kid out, let me know if it's worth me traveling down to see.
In my era, the college coaches had time to come out. Mm-hmm. The assistant coaches were there. I had some college coaches at every one of my high school games.
Yeah.
Every day. I mean, every game. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They don't have that time anymore. And so now they rely on, recruiting services, the rankings, and they rely on social media. Yeah. Because everything is posted now.
That's what I was leading to. You know what I'm starting to see? Is that coaches, especially these new age assistant coaches, like I saw one school is on the coast of Georgia or something like that, but where the basketball players live is on a beach. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what division you think it is, and the coach say, hey, this can be your dorm room and where you stay for 4 years. And then now you thinking like, what we always talk about quality of life.
Right.
And then under that post, it's 75 highlight tapes with grade point average, SAT score, and your stats for the year with that from different players and stuff. So I'm sitting here looking, and then I'm looking, you know how the algorithms work. I'm looking, and it's a common thing. It's like people are like dropping the videos underneath their information, email, contact information. I'm like, yo, this is something heavy to navigate. like how would you be able to, I don't know, like, because all the coaches are going to be over 35, right? Over 35, 36, 37, having to navigate the whole program.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up because like 2 or 3 other coaches and I spoke about this just last night, older guys. And I said, to be successful in today's game, you got to have you should always have a young person on your staff anyway. Because think about, we were talking about Kentucky, right? Calipari's, older guy. Orlando Antigua's older. I don't know if Rod Strick is back with them, but no, Bruiser's with them. And, they're all older guys.
Yep.
So they can't relate to the younger guys as much as somebody that's in their early 30s. And so you got to have somebody like that on your staff who understands social media, doesn't mind being engaged in social media, and knows how to talk to the players, because things are different nowadays where you get a kid, you recruit a kid in, but once you get him in, you can't just cast him aside. You got to re-recruit him every day because people are coming and going like crazy.
Man, and they're gonna have somewhere to go. They're gonna land somewhere, whether they like it or not.
Right.
Like I'm trying to find a video. There's a video of a Radford coach, and Jacksonville coach, talking about how they use social media to monitor the mood of their players, because it's telling for them. And I'm sitting here looking, and I'm like, let me see if I got it right here. So he was saying something like, if a player starts to post, I can't find where I saw it. Well, he's like, if I'm on social media and I see one of my players posting highlights of them in high school, and they just come off like a bad in like 2 weeks, like I'm in the group chat like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you all right? You okay? Because that's how this age group is. So you got to learn to adapt. So he's like, I'm monitoring all of that stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking like, yo, that's facts. That's facts. But, some coaches, because you talking about getting kids to talk to you. That's even harder now than before, because they don't talk, period.
Well, and especially if you're an older coach, because you're used to a harsher language. You know what I'm saying? A harsher, mode of approach. These kids, and I'm not going to sit here and say that, these kids are all, ultra soft, but it's a different era, and these kids are used to, different things, and we just have to approach them differently, man. And a lot of the older coaches, that's why you see some of the great coaches leaving the game, because they know, it's time for them to go, time for them to go.
It's funny that you said that. Some great coaches are leaving, some are staying. But then there are some new ones coming around too. Yeah. Mighty Mouse, Damon Stoudemire to Georgia Tech. Leaves the Celtics organization and heads there. What do you think?
Man, like I said, Georgia Tech is a tough place just because the academic requirements to get in are just so tough. It's like Notre Dame. People understand. People wonder why Notre Dame struggled for so many years. Well, it's hard to get kids in there. If you're a 4 or 5 star athlete and you're basically on a 4 or 5 star academic level, you ain't going to Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You just it's going to be hard to get you in, and so and it's hard to find that combination of both. You might be a 4 or 5 star player, but you might be a C student. So Georgia Tech might not be the place for you because the academic workload is a lot.
Man, the interesting thing about that is, and we were talking about it before the pod, we really don't pay attention to universities Because all my life, I done paid attention to Georgia Tech, UGA, UVA, Virginia Tech, Duke. I mean, all North Carolina A&T, a whole bunch of different schools. And we don't really understand the academic prowess of any of these places. And sometimes it's right there in the name.
Right.
And so when you look at UVA or whatever, or Georgia Tech specifically, you might hear somebody say, what? What do you mean? Because you're thinking about UGA. You're like, that's a state school. It's public school. Everybody can go there.
Yeah.
But Tech is that's Georgia technology.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you go there, it's different. You're talking about some of the best surgeons. Some of the,
Georgia Institute of Technology. It's different,
Yeah.
It's like UVA. I didn't know until my boy Junior Burroughs told me about UVA that it was so hard to get into academically. And then I helped. I coached a couple people in private training who went on to UVA, and I was like, shit, it's hard.
Yeah, big boy Darian.
Yep, Darian Atkins. Big Baby.
Yeah.
Even you don't even know Megan Lachak.
Yeah,
she was on the girls' team. She went to UVA. Yeah, she worked for ESPN.
She played there.
No, she was gonna go walk on, but she tore her knee up.
Yeah, I remember Megan from when she was young around and everything.
Yeah.
But man, shout out to Megan too.
Yeah.
Megatron. If you're still in contact with her. But that's one of those things to where when you talk about coaching jobs, people don't really know that's a battle you got to fight.
Yeah.
And then on top of NIL stuff and everything now. But then we go on to the next space. Rick Pitino. And I couldn't remember why Rick Pitino wasn't at Louisville anymore. Was it the scandal?
Yep.
Why you laughing, man?
I'm just saying, man.
I couldn't remember.
Because Rick Pitino, man, dude got 9 lives, man.
Yeah.
He got 9 lives, man. This cat.
Probably more than that. But why wasn't Rick Pitino? What was the scandal? Was it him with the prostitutes?
It was him with the mistress. Well, not the mistress, but the wife of one of his athletic department staff members in a restaurant after hours, and then there was remember there was a bunch of recruiting violations.
Yeah, he got about it.
Yeah, because they had the prostitutes on campus.
Yeah. Listen, man, do what you can to get him to Kentucky, right? But then he's been
Louisville
out.
though.
Yeah, but then he got him to. Then he goes to Iona, and Iona was in a tournament. I believe they won the MAC. Just like was our boy last year from that went to Seton Hall.
You're talking about Shaheen Holloway.
Yeah. And so now he's at Seton Hall. And so now Pitino is headed to St. John.
Yep.
Now, in this day and age, St. John's means nothing if you hear the name. If you talk about somebody from 2012, maybe like 08 to now, people don't really understand the history of the Red Storm.
Yep.
So somebody is probably saying, why would Pitino take that job?
Yeah, he's a native New Yorker.
One.
You know what I'm saying? And they are thirsty for success. They have a lot of money, resources. There's a lot of talent in the area. And this quite possibly could be his last stop because he's 70.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and out of the other jobs that are available, that's the most attractive one.
Yeah. And it's rich in history.
Yep.
And so somebody who's 70, Pitino old as hell, out there still doing it. Like, this is the place. And it's kind of like, I don't think anywhere else, I don't think it could fit with anyone else, right? Because St. John's needs somebody that really does understand the history of it so they can kind of refurbish that, recharge that, bring that type of energy back, and then bring some new age energy in. Because obviously Rick Pitino know how to do that.
Well, they just need instant credibility.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Mm-hmm. You know, he brings that. There's going to be a lot of people that want to play for him.
Yeah, and then, he goes there, and guess who replaces him in Iona? The FDU coach, the Fairleigh Dickinson coach.
Oh, okay.
He goes right to Iona, and he's going to take over that job. And some people are probably looking like, damn, you going to move that fast?
You got to.
Yeah, to explain why you got to, though, because I don't think they understand how that ladder works.
Yeah, you have to go when you're hot, because if not, the next year is not promised, and your value only depreciates. Like I said, that quote that Deion Sanders had, where he said, coaches either get elevated or eliminated. I mean, that's the most profound statement for a coach ever, because most coaches know they get hired to get fired at some point.
Absolutely. And then you talk about you got to move. If your ultimate goal is to get to a Power 5 or one of those bigger conferences, you got to prove you can win at another level and keep going. And Fairleigh Dickinson is a good start.
Yeah. And it's not even just a Power 5 school. It's an opportunity to compete for a championship.
Yeah.
Because Mark Few's been at Gonzaga.
Yeah, he made that.
Yeah. And now every year they're competing for a championship. But if you're somewhere, I'll give you an example. The guy that's at USC now, he started at a school in Florida where they were dunking on people every
Florida Gulf Coast.
Florida Gulf Coast. He made them into a national power for 1 or 2 years. But Andy Enfield, that's his name. But he can't maintain that.
Yeah.
He had to go. It worked at Wichita State for I forgot the
Marshall.
Marshall.
Uh-huh.
But then he got let go. But it's very rare that you could take a mid-major program and make them into a powerhouse where you can compete every year. So you got to leave, man.
Yeah, like Butler, right?
Got to leave.
Yeah, man. So, and then the next space right after that, another Big East hire. And we talked about this earlier in the season after we had Coach Thomas on, who's at Providence. We talked about that next episode that there needed to be a change in Georgetown in D.C. And so they parted ways with Ewing. And Ed Cooley is the one that's going to lead the charge for that. And
good hire.
Ed Cooley fits the DC energy, the Chocolate City energy. When we kind of it's crazy. I don't know how many other places have a university that is all the way tied in to the culture of that city too. What I mean by that is in raps, when Hov talk about DC, he bringing up the Hoyas, right? He bringing up G-Town. It's a staple in the culture for many reasons. And so when you look at who's at the helm of that, Cooley just looked like he and his family should be living in PG or living up there in Maryland or DC.
He's in Montgomery County.
Yeah, man, he gonna be
Virginia.
Yeah, he gonna be somewhere around the Tyson's Corner area or something. But I feel like when he walks into the McDonald Hall Arena and everything, it just gonna make sense.
Yeah. Well, one, he's a good basketball coach.
Great. Yeah.
He's very well spoken in how he gets his thoughts across. That's DC, because everybody in DC, they're politicians. But he fits right in with that. And, and Georgetown needed somebody that was completely opposite of what the past used to be.
True.
They needed somebody who's going to come in with their own philosophy and somebody that's, strong-willed to, move them in the right direction and not worry about all the chitter chatter. Well, Big John would have done this. He's not the type that's going to listen to all this stuff. And with his staff, you think about that's Ivan Thomas's background. That's his backyard.
Man.
So as I was explaining to somebody the other day, you think about a lot of the top 20 high schools in the country are in that area.
And public schools.
Yeah, so people will start going to Georgetown again.
Man, that DCIA pub league, that they beat. I think they might have beat St. John's and won the DC title, but it gets real. Yeah. And my mom hit me the other day and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go buy tickets again." And so I'm like, now it's like, man, I might have to go home and make a trip to stop down there. And so I'm excited to see that. Hopefully, Coach Thomas goes along with him. I'm sure he'll have a choice, because then that's just the perfect setup for him to get his.
Yeah, well, if he goes with them, then you talk about he will be more attractive in terms of what's going to be opening up, whether it be American, Mason. It's a higher profile than Providence.
And so they're talking about the Mason coach Kim English being the one to take over Providence.
Yep.
And then his assistant being the one to take over American.
Okay.
And so it's a lot of shifting. We're not even gonna go over that coaching carousel because it gets wild.
Yeah.
And then thinking about the transfer portal and everything else. But one thing about St. John's, they're not in the clear. And you talk about contracts all the time. Mike Anderson, who they fired, is filing suit against St. John's.
For what?
The for cause. It's on that paper. The for cause reason that they fired him. I think he was saying that it was unjust or they weren't justified to get him. And from what I'm seeing everybody say, is like he has a very strong case and they might have to pay up.
They owe him $11 million.
Ooh, yeah, read that out.
So. According to the termination letter obtained by ESPN, Anderson was fired for failure to create and support an environment that strongly encourages student athletes who are in the men's basketball program to meet all university academic requirements. Failure to perform your duties and responsibilities in a manner that reflected positively on St. John's University. Inactions brought serious discredit to the school and failure to appropriately supervise and communicate with your assistant coaches. Well,
damn.
What Jay-Z say? Men lie, women lie.
Yeah.
Numbers don't, so we don't know.
Yeah. Well, from what I'm hearing on those things, it's not an accurate play. They just lost games. No.
We'll see because
for sure
we'll see what their grades look like after the semester.
Yeah. I mean, he filed lawsuit quick though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also that you gotta remember that's also a play where you do that quickly.
Press their hand.
So the school said, you know what, we don't want this negative publicity. So we owe you 11. We're gonna give you 5 right now.
Yeah, get that cash out. All right, well, let's go into some more of the OGs, the legends. Kyler Perry, you know, he got out the tournament early this year. I think last year they didn't have a too good of a year, and so some people are saying it's Kyler Perry's future in doubt.
Yeah, early in the season, I know that they had some ups and downs because he's dealing with a lot of freshmen, and they were saying his job was in jeopardy. Then they were saying he's good because they became ranked top 20 again. But also there were rumors that Texas might be there available for him. So, here's the thing. In today's age of basketball, this transfer portal stuff that opened things up, if it weren't for COVID, Kentucky would still be on top. Yeah. Because he's still luring the top players. And he's still doing it today. The only difference is that other guys they're loading up on transfers that are grown men. Yeah. And I don't care if you're a top 100 player, maybe a former McDonald's All-American, 18 years old. You can't you can't consistently match up with somebody that's 21, 22.
Yeah.
It ain't happen. He's a grown man.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? And so, if Kentucky lets him go, who are they going to get?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Who you can get?
Because you got
high-profile job. You need a high-profile coach with a big personality. Who you going to get?
Billy Donovan.
He ain't leaving pro.
Yeah.
He's never going back to college.
Yeah. But that's
Never going back to college.
Mm-hmm.
Because if anything, he would go back to Providence.
Yeah.
Where he played.
Ime Udoka. I'm playing.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe.
Maybe, right? Maybe. But let's this is something that I know been bugging you. Jim Boeheim, I think a few weeks back, maybe a week and a half ago, he had a little press conference where one of the reporters was asking him, "Are you going to retire? Is this the end?" And he wouldn't say. He was kind of making it seem like it's the they have to fire me. I'm not going to leave. One of those type of things. But you had an interesting opinion on this because he is retiring now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's how old?
Oldest. He's been there 47 years.
47, yeah. And
or 43, 47, some shit like that.
Is he a coaching legend? Of course he is. But does that give you the right to hang on too long?
He holding them hostage is what he's saying?
Hold them hostage, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't say that they didn't do you right. They did you right, and you got to think about what's best for the university. Mm-hmm. And I think that, he stayed probably 10 years too long, maybe a little bit more. And they didn't get a chance to go after some guys that would have been perfect for that job.
Yeah.
And why are you holding on? Because he's had some bad years, recently. Yeah. And the thing is, like, every time he'd have a couple bad years, they'll luck up and, make the tournament and look good, whatever. But come on, man. 47 years, you did your thing there. You did your time. You did well. You're a legendary coach, Hall of Fame. Man, go ahead and do your thing, man.
Now, I think Uncle Ro talked about Pearl Washington last episode, right?
Monster.
Who coached him?
Jim Boeheim.
Yeah, listen to that,
Yeah.
though. That is a wild lifespan, like a coaching lifespan. Like that.
Listen, man, this dude had Billy Owens, Derek Coleman, Stevie Thompson. Man, he's had some great talent over a 47-year period. They've been to how many Final Fours?
Like 4, you said?
4. I think it's 4. And it's
And one title? Yeah, listen, you ain't up there. You can't be up there with Roy Williams and Coach K.
Yeah,
and Kyle.
Yeah, those guys are here. You know, even though you did 47 years, you're a little under them because you had Syracuse had some great talent.
Yeah,
I mean, outstanding talent.
And might have and definitely underachieved.
Yeah,
that zone principle shit gotta go. Right now, we talked about the transfer portal a lot and how it can hinder some people's success and how it makes it harder for people to get to school and stuff. But on the flip side of that, what's the positive about transfer portal though? If you're a coach,
if you're a coach, the positive. If you're a coach, is that you can take over a program, or you're in a situation where your job is in jeopardy, and your philosophy was based on the old way of thinking, where I'm going to develop my players over a 1 or 2 year period. You can change the trajectory of your program overnight in the transfer portal. You just got to be a go-getter and go get them. Because you can have you go get a player that's a 4-year player from the Ivy League, a 4-year player from the MAC, a 4-year player from the Patriot League, or a 3-year player, whatever, and bring them in and instantly have success overnight.
Yeah.
Does that mean you were a great coach in terms of developing talent? No, it means you're a great coach in terms of recruiting and managing talent, and that's part of coaching.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a positive of it.
Man, and that'll change up people's lives.
Oh, for sure.
Big time.
For sure.
Big time. But we ain't gonna take it too crazy with that, because it is March Madness time and things gonna go all over the place. We just gonna get you guys something short and sweet.
But can I add one more thing?
For sure, we gotta
with the transfer portal. When everybody was talking about, kids need more freedom to just go everywhere they please, right? You don't realize when you say these things, you forget about the high school seniors suffer the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. The high school seniors the past 3 years and probably for the next 2 years are going to suffer because, one, the transfer portal is wide open. There's no penalty for transferring. 2, remember, everybody got an extra year for COVID. So, think about it. One more year, and I think those COVID freshmen
are still in school.
They'll still be in school. So, the high school seniors are struggling right now to get into college.
Yeah. And then on the top of that, I've been seeing more and more reports that the NIL deals, people still aren't getting paid from that.
Yeah, well.
Only a handful of people are getting paid, and the NCAA still isn't coming out of pocket for anything.
Well, let's get this straight. Let's get this out in the open right now. I don't know what people were thinking about when they wanted to just open it completely up, because everybody's not going to get paid. Just because you play at North Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, UCLA, Michigan State, everybody on that team is not getting paid because everybody's not coming to the arena to watch your kid play.
Man.
That's just bottom line.
Man.
I'm a prime example. I went to Temple when John Chaney had Temple at his highest peak, and nobody's buying my jersey. I ain't even got a jersey, Yates. They're buying Aaron McKee, Eddie Jones, Rick Brunson. They're buying their jersey. Vic Karstafen, they're buying their jerseys. Mark Macon, and those guys before us. Everybody on the team is not getting paid. So it's not beneficial to everybody. What you should have been fighting for was the opportunity for the guys to get paid off their likeness if the school is using it. So if, number 11 from Michigan all of a sudden starts selling 30, 40,000, uniforms per year, yes, there should be money that should be going to you in a trust fund for later on down the road, but you should not just be getting contracts for everybody on the team to try to get paid. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
you're only promoting corruption.
Only Dawn Staley made sure all of her players had one. She got an agent for all of them, so all of them to hire an agent, and we're gonna get you guys different deals.
But also, She's the Don Dada of college basketball. Though.
Yeah.
So she can do that.
Gangster, man.
But after her, who can do that? Maybe Gino. Who else? Maybe
Muffy.
But Muffet from LSU. There's like maybe 5 or 6 of them. That's it.
Yeah.
And if we talk about women's basketball, they definitely have more obstacles to jump over than the men. But on the men's side,
same.
How many people gonna do it?
Same. It's always that same battle with people. I learned this in social media. I'm not social media, social movements course, when we talked about the different roles people play and change.
Yeah.
And how there's levels to all of that. Like, you need the people who gonna create some noise and protest and all that stuff. But when it's time to go negotiate the deals, the change agents, there's only a handful of them. Those are people who are experts at what they do, right? And everybody doesn't need to have a voice or an opinion and all those things. Like, you do need to have somebody speaking for the masses that knows what to expect and how to get in that room. But we'll get there in those things. But I do have we got some life lessons you told me we need to make sure we share on this podcast.
Okay.
Because before that, I found out wifey's due date is sooner than what we were told.
Yep.
Right? We thought it would be May 1st. Apparently it's April 20th, right? We got a name.
What's the name?
Julian Roland Yates.
Man, shut up.
I'm playing. We don't know. We still playing around trying to figure out what it is.
You're laughing, right? And somebody asked me the other day, they said, when is Coach Ryan's baby on the way? I was like, I'm not sure. It was late April now. But when you say April 20th, I was like,
it's close.
The funny, he might be born on my birthday.
And I've been telling everybody, I said, I don't want that. Because I've had to hear it. He was like, see, this is my type of guy right here, right? And so, but I think it'd be close to that because your birthday is 22nd or 20th. Yeah, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. But he'll be born during Eid and Ramadan, so that's a blessing too. But with that being said, was me having a child coming in, and it's a boy. We've talked about it plenty of times before, but we talked about raising a child outside of what we were used to, the culture we're used to, and some of the things you just got to learn, and some of the things we were taught that like we didn't realize we were being taught. It was just natural because we were just around people like us, right? And one of the things you learn as a boy, as a young man, is how to groom yourself, right? Even when you go to the barbershop.
Oh, that's why young breadwinner walked out. Come back in here, man.
He dipped out. When you talk about things like the black man code, right? And one of the things you got to learn, sometimes you learn the hard way, is when to and when not to use a straight razor.
Yes.
That is like.
So let me say it in layman terms so everybody can understand, because Coach is talking in riddles here. We're talking about young breadwinner. We're talking about our intern, Elias Baker, who I don't know how we stumbled across the conversation, but this was us, me and him in the car going to set up the league last Sunday, and last Saturday actually, because it was playoffs, and he just mentioned to me that he needed to get some straight razors, and so I took a double. So I'm like, yo, what you need a razor for? You ain't got no hair on your face. He's like, it's from my underarms. And he looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, what? I said, hold on, Slim. You've been shaving your armpits with a straight razor? He's like, yes. It's culture, it's religion, every 40 days or something like that, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, hold on, Slim. I'm sure that you weren't supposed to use a straight razor on your armpits. I said, you haven't irritated your skin? He's like, yeah, quite often. I said, yeah, I know, because you ain't supposed to be doing it. I said, who told you that?
Yeah.
He says his dad passed on the razors to him. I said, man, your dad probably passed the razors on to you for your face, not for your armpits.
Yeah.
I said, listen, man, all you need is some good trimmers, put a guard on, boop, boop, boop. 2 swipes and you done. Yeah. So I blessed him the other day. I took care of him.
It looked like we got a call back to Manscaped.
Yeah, we might have to. But y'all got to do us right this time.
Yeah.
Y'all did us dirty last time. We did a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of background work for y'all.
Yeah, I ain't messing with them though. They got some interesting.
But I took care of him though.
Yeah.
He's straight now.
But
now
listen,
he can move his arms freely without.
But King, dog, man, I remember the first time I went. Matter of fact, it happened in Harrisonburg. I went there to get a haircut. And you know, I never ever get a haircut in Harrisonburg, but I had to because the opening night, first game of the season, was the next day, and I couldn't drive because I was a freshman, so I couldn't get to DC to get a cut, right? And so they told me that there was a black dude named Tyrone who cut hair. Right. Look, so the story started crazy, right? And so there's a bunch of dudes, the people, you know what I'm saying? A lot of guys that was there before me, they went to see Tyrone before. They all from different parts of VA though, and stuff like Fredericksburg, you know, this other stuff. So I should have considered that because I was like, they ain't from where I'm from. They don't like the same haircuts. And so I get to the barbershop, you know what I'm saying? First I get there, and you know, it's like a lot of Spanish dudes in there, like a little pit bull up front too, right? So I'm like, yo, this shit crazy. And so I tell the guy, I was like, yo, I'm here to see Tyrone. Me and my boy, we there, and Tyrone ain't there yet, right? And so I'm like, yo, where the hell Tyrone at? He's like, yo, he'll be here in a minute, just sit in the chair. Tyrone pull up, and he in the orange and green construction site joints. Like he just got off, like they just called him to get out the road from doing work. The hard hat down, put his fitted on, he come over there, he's like talking, he's like, what's up, player? What's up, young blood? And I'm like, yo, just give me a fade, you know what I'm saying? Keep it dark up top, you know, take care. You know me, I got the little goatee coming in. Right. And so he talking to me, you know, he talking too much. You know what I'm saying? Somebody call his phone, he answers, say something wild, right? And so, you know, you can feel when the cut ain't sharp, but it ain't terrible. So I'm like, all right. So he was like, look, let me hit you with the razor so to get you right. And I was like, you know, I know you can get the line up and get it cut. I was like, all right. But I said, don't put it on my face. So he got me on my neck. Right.
Even worse. Even worse.
Next day, I looked like I had like warts on my shit. I was like, oh, what the hell is this?
You had what we call Nestle Crunch.
Oh my man.
Yep.
That shit was the worst. But now when you think about it, right? We for all of us who grew up, and you had just from my experience, Southern black men in your house, yep. And they were bald headed. Yep. And they had those little the things in here, because it's a damn straight razor. Yep. You know, I know my grandpops, you know, he was a military guy, so he had a knife. And so, you know, some people that just do that with a knife on their head. Keep that straight edge away from your neck and the back of your neck, especially your
underarms, man.
Boy, if he would have done that down under, man, that shit crazy, boy. Yeah. But you know what that is right there?
Listen, they bridging the gap. They bridging the gap. They
Yo, that's straight from KG himself. Shout out to my boy Kenny. Kenny sent that to me the other day and was like, yo, this is a soundbite for y'all. And I was like, man, you damn right. I'm gonna play it twice.
Listen, they bridging the gap. They bridging the gap. They
Listen, we here, man. BTG Nation, man, live from the First Collection Hotel in Jumeirah Village Circle. That is episode 17? 17 we're here. We gotta get you guys with the post game wrap up today. Oh man, we heading into spring break, so I'm gonna go ahead and go first. But we heading into spring break over here. We're gonna have a couple weeks off. I think what I want to share with people is educate yourself. As we grow older, as we start to stray away from old habits, start to unlearn things, we can spend more time reading, researching, discovering some new stuff, because what we've learned and what I've seen being around other adults who, once they get to a certain space in life, they don't really take the time to learn about the rest of the world or anything around them. They start to just plateau, and it becomes harder to be around those type of people. It becomes harder for those type of people to empathize and see the views of others around the world, because everybody is so different. So one of the blessings we have being alive every day is being able to learn from each other. And so, spend some time trying to learn, grow, experience something new. and share that.
And learning about self-grooming.
Man, look, we got to educate. We got to educate, because if you can do a thumbs up, that's because you ain't doing the raising no more. Yeah. What you got?
So, I normally try to go every other episode. One episode is something that I come up with, and the other episode is something that I saw and was inspired by it. I was looking at this article the other night, and it's by about a guy named Nick Lavery, who's currently serving as an active United States Army Special Forces Chief Warrant Officer. He's the first and only Special Forces operator to return to combat as an above-the-knee amputee.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, his story is crazy. Like, it literally brought a tear to my eye because he was, in war, and basically the people that were working with them basically set him up with a bomb. And he has no ill will towards them because basically, I'm not going to name any names, but the enemy basically threatened this guy's family. And he says, I understand, because I would do anything to protect my family as well.
Right.
And so, that takes a lot of, that's a bold statement from somebody to make, to say, I'm not going to hold any ill will towards this guy. And so his main mantra in life is, success is nothing more than small efforts performed daily. And I'm thinking about that. I'm like, yo, that's very profound, because it's like every day we have these little obstacles that we have to overcome, but it all adds up to something in the bigger grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? And so I was like, man, that's something. I put that up on my wall immediately.
Well, you got to send that article to Illy so I can highlight it on the pod. What's funny about that is it's been something that I've been thinking about for the last couple of days, maybe like the last week. Is compound interest. Because people talk about it all the time, and money and stuff, and I'm starting to see it more and more from athletes and people giving motivational speeches to athletes. It's like, you're 1% better, 1% better. Compound interest. You keep adding that up. The next day you're gonna look up and you'll be like, damn, we did all that.
Yeah.
Right? And that goes directly in line with that.
Yeah.
Like daily successes.
Yeah.
I mean, we look at this, look at the podcast, we look at everything. I mean, we putting out small fires.
Yep.
Daily. And so, man, speaking of putting out a small fire, we were hungry as hell before this episode started. And this is a shameless plug. This is real. This is 100%. Wingstop, you came through. Wingstop, you came through. You delivered, cashed out 40-piece onion rings, fries, and everything. Well, look, we are not faking the funk. Wingstop, right here. You came through, and we needed that. You kept us alive, because we were working. OG on his side of the town, me on my side of the town. He was working all day. I'm talking to him. I'm working all day on the pod and stuff in between, and we forgot to eat.
Yeah.
And you came through. So Wingstop, man, appreciate you. With that being said, BTG Nation, you know the drill.
Listen, they bridging the gap. They bridging the gap. They
keep it simple, keep it real, and keep going.
Player and coach, the brother to brother. They both got views that you need to discover. From sports, current events to just life talk. Whether you on a fast break or a nice walk, gotta tune in. You already know, G. This BTG Nation, and you one of the homies. Just tune in. You already know, G. BTG Nation, the other ones in the nosebleeds.